It remains one of the deadliest tragedies ever to occur at the European border. Migrants beaten, crushed between a high fence and Moroccan border guards who use batons, tear gas and rubber bullets. People asphyxiated in the crush with highly disturbing images of migrants lying motionless, others visibly distressed. Officially, 23 were killed. It happened as nearly 2,000 mostly Sudanese migrants tried to cross the militarised border from Morocco into the small Spanish enclave of Melilla on the North African coast. 3 years on, the subject remains extremely sensitive. Let's take a listen, though, to the Prime Minister, Pedro Sánchez, talking at the time.
Recordar también que la gendarmería marroquí.
I must say that the Moroccan gendarmerie worked in coordination with the Spanish forces to repel the violent assault we saw yesterday in Melilla. Finally, if there's one person responsible for everything that seems to have happened at the border, it's the mafia that is smuggling human beings.
Human rights groups dispute the official figure of 23 killed, saying they know that in reality more like 40 died and another 70 remain missing. As you just heard, both Morocco and Spain have denied using excessive force and have accused the migrants of being violent. No independent investigation has ever been carried out. Both countries quick to close the case, denying any responsibility. What happened has had a profound effect, not only on those who witnessed events, but longer term on migration routes. More migrants nowadays trying to reach Europe via the Spanish enclave of Ceuta, further west, or via the Canary Islands. With Celine Schmidt and Armel Exposito and Sarah Morris revisit Melilla for France 24.
This is Melilla, one of two Spanish enclaves bordering Morocco. This 12-kilometre-long fence separates the European Union from Africa. The border is monitored more than ever before.
Central Control, Romeo, India. On our way to the location. We're headed towards Zone A47. The control center has just told us that the fence has been activated, and we're going to find out what set it off. It could be an attempt to breach it.
France 24 was given special permission to film with this civil guard patrol. Just a few minutes later, a second team arrives as backup.
So far, the area looks quiet.
The wire fence is fitted with sensors to capture movement and heat. The system activates if a living being approaches and in certain circumstances because of the wind.
Over the last few years, the Spanish government has spent more than 38 million euros to stop attempts to cross the border at Melilla.
All the razor-edged barbed wire has been removed. The fence has been raised, and if you look carefully at the second fence, you can spot the security comb anti-intruder system to make illegal crossings harder. You really have to be an athlete to cross not one, but 3 barriers.
The barriers are 6 meters high, seemingly insurmountable. A little further along is the Barrio Chino border crossing, where one of the worst migration tragedies occurred at the gateway to the European Union. On the 24th of June 2022, more than 2,000 migrants tried to storm the border into Spain. Officially, 23 of them died on the Moroccan side, 100 according to migrant charities. An uncomfortable case for the Spanish government. Here, no one wants to comment on it. On the other side of the Mediterranean, in southern Spain, Ama Abu Bakr was one of those who survived.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, I'm cooking oats for the meal. Do you feel happy here?
Yes, I feel good here.
He's just moved into this flat with Nafisa and 2 other people.
This is our lounge. It's really good, really comfortable. My flatmate and I are paying 300 euros a month, 150 euros each.
Ammar works on a farm and sends most of his monthly salary back to Sudan to his wife and 2 children. On the 24th of June, he was one of the first to reach the border and take advantage of the disorganization of the Spanish authorities.
He's called Bakri. He always has a problem with his foot and can't walk without crutches. They threw stones and, what are they called? Burning plastic objects. When I was on the top of the fence, there was hardly anyone, just 5 members of the Guardia Civil. I couldn't have helped anyone. Some people fell to the ground. They couldn't hold on any longer.
His friends behind him suffered a worse fate.
He's called Mohammed Abdulrahman Abdullah. We were together at 7 a.m. And then, 10 minutes later, I couldn't find him. I looked for him everywhere. I sent photos to a group of lawyers, journalists, but no one has heard anything about him.
Is he in jail or dead? Ammar has no answers. He's rebuilding his life in Lorca with new friends from his country. Saleh and Rafiq, also from Sudan, crossed the border at Melilla shortly before he did. They say the Moroccan police treated them violently.
There are a lot of risks on the way here. The police can catch you, they can send you back to your country, but thank God we are here in Spain.
All 3 migrants feel lucky, but Ammar hasn't forgotten those who didn't manage to join them in Spain on the 24th of June. They receive regular news from a man who wants to be referred to as Mustafa. A Sudanese migrant, he spent 3 months in a Moroccan prison without being charged.
We were given just 1 meal a day. We had to sleep on the ground, and we couldn't go to the toilet more than once a day. Some of the soldiers were racist and said, "Go back to Africa. Why did you come here?" I was freed, but others were found guilty of false charges.
86 migrants are still languishing in Moroccan prisons. At least 70 others are reported as missing. 3 years later, they remain forgotten by the authorities. The Spanish and Moroccan courts quickly closed the case, ruling out any police responsibility. A rushed investigation, says a reporter at a not-for-profit association.
Look at this. This police officer hits a guy in the back and then kicks him in the back and throws him on the ground. What law allows that? Look, these are Guardia Civil officers and Moroccan police officers in Melilla who are carrying the injured people, some of them unconscious, back to Morocco, a place where they have been tortured, where the police mistreated them just a few minutes earlier.
The Moroccan police took 470 migrants back, dead and alive, forcibly to their territory. They were then left piled up for several hours in the sun. In these images, the Moroccan officers hit a man on the ground before throwing another man violently to the ground. Spain has said that none of the 23 deaths took place on its territory. A lie, according to Bautista.
A pile of bodies was just here on the line, separating Morocco from Spain. We've been able to prove a death on the Spanish side. Anwar, a 27-year-old man here.
Bautista's claims led to him coming under pressure.
The Spanish and Moroccan governments have gone out of their way to ensure nothing is known. And I can tell you that powerful people have threatened to order the police to take action against us. The journalists who took part in this investigation, I felt very frightened personally.
A few politicians want to lift the silence on the case. The left-wing Basque separatist MP, Jon Iñárritu, says the 24th of June is a state secret. He has spent 5 months battling for the government to release the images filmed by the police cameras that day.
We met in a room like the one here. 9 representatives for the Interior Commission. On a screen, we watched the videos that were released to us, but I still ask myself if there are other videos and if they were removed.
His 2 requests for the creation of a parliamentary commission to investigate Melilla were rejected by the Socialists, the Conservatives and the right-wing party Vox. He says his questions remain unanswered.
These are the written questions we addressed to the government to get more information. We inquired about the riot equipment, but they didn't want to answer. There was an intention to hide things.
Iñárritu believes there's a cover-up that goes beyond Spain's borders.
This is a process of externalizing our borders. Morocco is doing what neither the European Union nor Spain wants to do. It's clear that Spain didn't want to push the investigation too far in order not to bother Morocco.
In the enclave Melilla, the border guards are on the front line of migration policy.
Así, aquí, vamos, mira.
Sergio Marquez is a civil guard officer. He has patrolled the border for more than 20 years.
Fortunately, we've got places like the beach, open spaces, where we can let off some of the stress of the job.
In the last few years, this officer who grew up in Melilla has seen his town turned into a fortress.
I remember when I was small, you could go into Morocco really easily, and the landscape has changed. Every time I see this fence, I think about the incidents we've had to deal with and how we coped.
There is deep unease in the civil guard in Melilla. Sergio is one of the few to agree to talk to us.
Hi, everything all right?
Fine.
Shall we prepare the meeting?
He discusses his concerns at his police association.
Imagine if a patrol has to tackle an incident at the fence, and at the same time there is an attempt to cross by swimming. We would be completely thrown off.
We also have a legal framework to protect us when we have to act, to tell us how to act, so that we aren't risking our jobs each time or our lives.
Jose Maria is still traumatized by the 24th of June, when 50 of his colleagues were injured.
I heard it on the radio. I felt powerless knowing my colleagues were down there, hearing how more and more people were jumping on the barrier. I called for more help, but there wasn't any. No one can imagine what the barrier at Melilla is like, but we went through. You could see the desperation in the eyes of those people, as if they were saying to you, "Let me through."
Déjame pasar.
Maite also remembers that dramatic morning.
Hi, how are you? Sigal, you're leaving this Monday, is that right?
This retired teacher has been helping migrants for the last 20 years.
Oh, you've got work then. Super.
In Melilla, some of the survivors of the 24th of June border surge were housed here. Unusually, Maite wasn't able to enter the centre that day.
The migrants stayed in this centre for a very short time. I think it's because the Interior Minister was frightened that they would tell their stories. They were quickly sent elsewhere, and above all, separated from one another. I think it's a way to erase what happened on the 24th of June.
Maite worries she will never know the truth. With her limited resources, she tries to help the young migrants.
I'm making chicken sandwiches. I do that to take care of them and to remember all the people who crossed the border on the 24th of June, and also for all those who didn't make it. Take these bags.
This evening, there are about a dozen Moroccan migrants, most of them minors.
Boys, come here. Here, you've got ketchup and mayonnaise.
Like all those with him, this 16-year-old believes climbing the fence is too dangerous.
There are soldiers who stop you crossing the border. When they arrest you, they beat you up. That's why I chose to come by swimming, to avoid the soldiers. I jumped into the water at 8 o'clock in the morning and arrived at 4:30 in the evening.
The traumatic events of the 24th of June put off most migrants from crossing the border at Melilla. Many now reaching the European Union are choosing the Canary Islands, a route that is even more dangerous.
Celine Schmidt, Armel Expedito and Sarah Morris there. That's all from this week's edition. You can catch it again on our website, of course, at france24.com. Thanks for watching.